Hey guys, welcome back to Alaska Love 12. Today I'm going to be doing a get to know me tag style video. Basically, over the last couple of years and since I've had this channel, I've really struggled to kind of hone in on what I wanted this channel to be, what content I wanted to be sharing, what I wanted to be doing. Originally, I thought that beauty and lifestyle type videos were going to be kind of my niche, something that I was going to fall in because they're one of my favorite types of videos on YouTube to watch. And I've just realized over the years that my life has kind of changed, and with having children and a marriage and other things, I don't have as much time to dedicate to those videos. Anyone who's found success here on YouTube in that realm of videos, has to spend a lot of time. There's a lot that goes into those between staging and lighting and trying new products constantly and staying on top of trends and all of those things. And that's something that I like to do like as a hobby. I really enjoy that. However, I'm not professionally trained in hair and makeup, and I just feel like when it comes to my voice, when it comes to the, kind of corner of the world that I want to have on YouTube, or like the corner of YouTube that I want people to come to if they're looking for a certain type of thing from me, isn't exactly hair and makeup and beauty. And while I'm always going to probably still share some of those things on my channel, I'm just not driven by that, and I was kind of putting pressure on myself to always be trying to figure out how to film hauls and tutorials and product empties and favorites and unboxings and those types of things, and they may pop up here and there. But what I really want to get into is kind of more of a motherhood, parenthood, judgment-free type space. I'm utmost and obviously for 99% of my days, I'm a wife and a mother, and that's what is coming first in my life at this time period. And sure, things that I'm interested in are also going to make an appearance, but I kind of just want to share my journey with motherhood and parenthood and wifehood, I guess. And I've kind of started that over on my blog. I've started writing over there again, and I will link that below. And I have a series going on now called Out of the Fog, and it's where I'm kind of talking about how over the last year or so I really have become really disconnected from being a motherhood and a wife and those components of my life, and now I'm reconnecting to those. So stay tuned. I'm gonna make like an official this is now Alaska Love 12 announcement in an upcoming video now that I've got things figured out. But for now, I thought since it's kind of going in a new direction, it would be great to sit down and do a get to know me style video, and I am just going to go through some questions. Some of these I got from one of my newly found favorite YouTube channels, and I believe her name is Angela, and I think her channel is This Gathering Nest or A Gathered Nest. I feel terrible that I'm forgetting, but I'll link it below. She's a homeschooling mom. She has 5 kids, so it's just, I find I relate to a lot of things on her channel. And when I was watching her get to know me video, where I pulled most of these questions from, and then some I changed and I added some others in that I thought would be fun or interesting, when she answered, I was like, yes, 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 okay, when I do my video, I hope it doesn't come across like I'm literally copying your answers because they're just very similar. So anyway, I will link her channel below as well as anything else that I mentioned in this video that I feel deserves a tag link to someone else that isn't me. So yeah, name. My first name is Sadie. Where were you born? I was born in central Wisconsin, and just so you guys don't think I'm crazy, I actually typed these up and printed them because holding my phone, I just always end up getting text messages that come up and emails, and it's just annoying to clear them while I'm trying to look at a note on my phone. So anyway, so I was born in central Wisconsin. Hometown, I have a hometown that I grew up in, 2 of them, because my childhood was kind of between the two, and it's Wild Rose, Wisconsin and Watoma, Wisconsin. But then for high school, I would have considered my hometown where I was living to be Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin, because that's where I was going to school at the time. And then for my brief stint in college, I was in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and then I've since kind of lived different places for work in Alaska, but I call home with my family, my husband and my children right now, Wasilla, Alaska. Where do you work? Right here in this house. I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, and I have this YouTube channel and my blog, and then my husband Justin and I also have a small business that we run together that has to deal with aftermarket parts for 120 snow machines because our kids race, and it's something that our family's really into. So yeah, kind of, and Then I have another like small little business of my own called Snowy Peach Boutique because I make like hair bows and hair accessories for girls, and or for kids in general, I shouldn't say for girls, but if I ever get my Etsy shop back up and running, I'll link that at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. What did you want to be when you grew up? Like every kid in the 90s, I wanted to be a marine biologist because Free Willy. How many siblings do you have? I have two siblings. I have two brothers. They are younger than me. They are both in their 20s. And yeah, so there were three of us. I was the oldest and the only girl, and then there were two boys. Hair length and eye color. Okay. My hair length, I was gonna say long, but honestly, this isn't the longest it's ever been, but this is the length when it's sort of wave curled like this. The color is this blonde balayage. So it's like brown and blonde. I'm transitioning it lighter for summer, and then my eyes are blue. I've had a lot of different hair colors. My hair has been red, my hair has been black. My hair has been short one time in my life, aside from like childhood haircuts that were out of my control, and it was the worst decision I ever made. I went through a breakup my first year of college, and I went into a hair salon that wasn't my regular hair salon, and I said to the girl, I just went through a breakup, and I want my hair to be short and I want it to be dark. So can we do that? And it was literally like this awkward like A-line, which doesn't work with my big head. It was not cute. So I have like a couple of years of awkward grow out photos as like a young adult that aren't great. How tall are you? I am 5 feet, 9 inches and a half. That half was really important to me when I was in high school and I played basketball. Least and most favorite subject in school. I had two subjects that I didn't really like because they were not only challenging but just downright difficult for me, and that was math and physics. And then my favorite subjects were always English, reading, writing, that type of thing, and then sciences. I really loved biology and microbiology and chemistry and environmental exploration type stuff. Any piercings or tattoos? I have one piercing, I'm not flipping, or one tattoo, excuse me, I'm not flipping you guys off. I have this little bow on my finger as like a wedding band tattoo. Justin has one as well, not a bow, but a tattoo there. And then I have my ears pierced, and over the years I've had like multiple piercings on my ears, but they always seem to get infected or closed, so I just have the single piercings. And then I have my nose pierced. This is the second time I've had my nose done. I had to take it out for a job, and then about 5 years later I got it re-pierced again, but now I have 2 holes, so that's gonna be lovely scar tissue someday. Any pets? We do have pets. We have 3 cats. We have Cordova, she's a tabby cat, and then we have Collins, she is a black and white like tuxedo mark cat, and then Luna, who, as far as we can tell and as far as we can figure out with our vet, she is a dilute tortie and part Maine Coon cat, so she's rather big, and Justin always calls her fat, but she's not fat, she's fluffy. We have 2 dogs now. Unfortunately, our dog Aurora passed away earlier. She had to be put down about 2 months ago now, but we have Denali, and he's a blue heeler and husky mix, and he's 8. I think he's going to be 8 this year. And then we have Kobuk, who's an American Eskimo and Chow Chow mix, and he is going to be 4 at the beginning of 2017. Have I ever been out of the country? Yes, but only to Canada, because we drove through Canada and then back through Canada to get to where our wedding was in Wisconsin in 2012, and that's where my family is, so we had our wedding there and then drove back. Movies, my all-time favorite movie is Steel Magnolias. My colors are blush and bashful. I can probably quote that entire movie if I stop and think about it. Other people don't really enjoy watching it with me anymore because I just recite it over and over and over again. That's been my favorite movie for about as long as I can remember. Like, it's the movie I put on if I'm not having the best day and I need to just kind of unwind with something that I know and love. It'll be Steel Magnolias. My favorite TV shows. I watch a lot of TV simply because we don't have cable and Justin is out of town for work a lot, so I stream a lot of things between Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon, and I always like to have something on in the background. And so right now I have really been enjoying the show The 100, and that's a CW show. And then kind of like a trio that I really like are Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med. And then I also really like things like Mind of a Chef on Netflix. I'm kind of all over the place. I kind of like to change it up depending on the mood I'm in or what I'm interested in at the time. So yeah, those are my current favorites. All-time favorite TV shows though, hands down, One Tree Hill, Friends, and Grey's Anatomy. Done. well, and then I really like Doctor Who. Favorite book? Lifetime favorite book is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Current book that I'm reading that I really like is by Anthony Bourdain, and it's Kitchen Confidential, so I've really been enjoying that. Favorite color? I would say I have like shades of colors that I love. If you ask my kids, they'll say it's teal, but I kind of like anything on the teal, mint, jade green color of that pillow type spectrum. And then beyond that, I really like kind of neutrals, like this beigey, almost grayish shade, and then I really like grays, and I love a good dark deep chocolate brown. Favorite perfume? Current perfume that I wear is Thierry Mugler, and it's Alien. I've loved that one for a couple of years now. Prior to that, I really liked Clinique Happy, and I would say those are probably my favorites. Victoria's Secret Original, the body spray, and the perfume, the original, were my favorites hands down for like 10 years. But then they changed it, so I had to move on, and that's where Alien came into play by Thierry Mugler. I think I'm saying that correctly. Favorite holiday? I actually don't know that I have a holiday that like is a favorite. Obviously, I really enjoy Christmas and the time around Christmas, but I don't know that that's like my favorite holiday. I think my favorite holidays are actually right now for me my kids' birthdays. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's just really fun to watch them like be excited about the day they came into the world and, you know, get to celebrate them. And each year they have different interests that they're into and different themes for their parties. So I really like it because it's kind of different from year to year. Favorite store? For everything in my life, it's Target. I actually have to go there today because I have to get printer cartridges and unfortunately a child, and I shouldn't have done this. Other mothers, do you ever do this? I set my sunglasses on the stairs yesterday, walked down the hallway. It was right when the girls were getting home from school, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't set those there, but they're off to the side. Nobody will step on them. They got stepped on. They're broken. So I need sunglasses and printering, so I'm gonna have to go to Target. Locally here in Alaska, I really like all of the shops in downtown Palmer. I really enjoy them, and I'm gonna be one of those crazy people that says I really like Costco. Now, I like Costco more now that my kids are a little bit older and I'm not taking toddlers or really young kids into Costco or Target for that matter. But I just appreciate a good day at Costco. I do really like IKEA. We don't have IKEA in Alaska. I also like Whole Foods, don't have that in Alaska. So within Alaska, the shops in downtown Palmer and Alaska Picker, if you're looking for antiques or if you're into collecting vinyl, which is something that I really like to do, Alaska Picker here in Wasilla, Alaska, it's kind of between Wasilla and Palmer, is great. And then big box stores, I really like Target and Costco. Favorite restaurant? Locally, hands down, Khan's Sushi in Wasilla, Alaska is my favorite restaurant. And I also really like Moose's Tooth, which is kind of becoming like a cliche restaurant to like in Alaska, but I really like Moose's Tooth. And then the Colony Inn in Palmer. In terms of like big box chain style stores, I like, restaurants, I like Cheesecake Factory. I also really love Cracker Barrel. Like, holds a dear place in my heart, that Cracker Barrel. Favorite place to go? Right now, and I kind of touched on this in my Out of the Fog part 1 post that I did over on my blog, and I'll be touching on it more. Right now, it's anywhere with my kids that gets us outside and moving, whether it's a hike, whether it's going to the Matanuska River area that we went to over this last weekend, or whatever it is. Right now, I don't have any one specific place, but it's those little adventures that I go to with my kids that I really love. And of course, I'd love for Justin to be a part of them too, but he's always out of town working. So right now, it's anywhere that I can get to with my kids. Favorite song? My all-time favorite song is Let It Go by the Beatles. Current favorite is by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. I had to grab my phone for this, and it's S.O.B. But I also S.O.B. is the name of the song, but I do also really like I Need Never Get Old by them, and then I really like George Ezra right now as well. So that's kind of what I'm into at the moment. Mac or PC? Mac. Facebook or Twitter? Facebook. I've been on Facebook forever. I think it's been 9 years now. I had a Facebook account when I was in high school, back when it was way different than it is now. I've been on Facebook since basically when you had to post a status, it said like Sadie is. So everything you posted was like Sadie is reading a book. Sadie is getting excited about going camping. Those are the types of statuses that I have been around Facebook for. So Twitter I appreciate. I don't use it very often. What are you currently thinking about? Homeschool. We've made the decision to homeschool all 3 of our kids next year for the 2016-2017 school year. I actually just turned in the notice to the girls' school, and I also just turned in the enrollment to the charter school that I use for kind of my homeschool base with Nikolai this last year. So I'm like looking at curriculum, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Homeschooling 3 kids is a big change from homeschooling 1 kid. So yeah, I'm really excited about it though. I think I've made the decision to actually homeschool sort of year-round. I think we're going to start our school year, so to speak, on June 1st. It'll give the girls about, I don't know, 3 weeks off from when this current school year ends for their public school, and then Nikolai will give him about a month off. I want to see where the kids are at with stuff for the summer because I haven't ever homeschooled the girls before. So I want to see where they're at with stuff, do some assessments so that by July 1st, I can be picking up my curriculum for us to start in September for the actual like traditional school year, because with being partnered with the charter school, I do have to follow the school district calendar in terms of when progress reports and report cards and stuff are due, but I can customize it a little bit. So by starting in June and July, it kind of just gives me a heads up, and I just really need to see where kids are at before I order certain levels of curriculum, because I'm not entirely 100% focused on what grade they're in. I'm more focused on where their learning is at. Obviously, I have to meet some standards and stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I need to make a separate video, but that's what I'm thinking about. I'm also thinking about the summer and trying to figure out which trips I want to go on, hikes I want to take the kids on, overnight camping trips, because I told them we'd go on like an overnight backpacking tent camping trip. I'm also thinking about their birthdays. I'm also thinking about which room in my house I need to clean the most. I'm also thinking about matching up socks. There's a lot that happens up here, so if I ever seem a little like blah, 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 that's why. Any weird habits? I would say I do this weird thing where, and Justin was actually the first person in my life that ever pointed out to me, when I'm like alone and thinking or trying to do something, I do this weird thing, like hold on, or I'll be walking around the house, like probably thinking about like a grocery store list or something, going, and the kids have picked up on it, so now everybody walks around the house going, or I just randomly will do that. So that's a little weird. Other than that, I don't think I have any weird like habits like that. I don't know. I should have probably asked somebody else to tell me what my weird / annoying habits were, but I didn't. Life motto. So my life motto is not all those who wander are lost, and it's actually a poem from J.R.R. Tolkien from the Lord of the Rings book. I'm not like crazy obsessed with Lord of the Rings, or it's not something that I'm like super into, but the poem itself that it comes from, all that is gold does not glitter, I really like the poem, and then kind of that life motto is something I think of, and for me, I kind of think about it in a way, you know, not all those who wander are lost, because not all of us take the most conventional or normal like path, and not all of us go from A to B, you know, in line, or A to Z, so to speak. So it's just kind of something that I've always held close to me when life has gotten a little bit, you know, challenging, and I feel like I've gotten off my own path for myself, just to remind myself that like, just because you're wandering, just because things are different than what other people expect them to be, doesn't mean you're lost, and it doesn't mean you're alone, and it doesn't mean your life's a hot mess. Sometimes it does mean that, but not all the time, okay? Favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do by myself is read or write, or I really like organizing my planners. I really enjoy that. My favorite thing to do with my family is to be out camping. I just really love it. And then my favorite thing to do with my kids right now is actually teaching them things. They're at a really fun age. Their twins are 8 and little Danielle is 7. And so they're at an age where their brains are kind of like they're sponges, you know, but it's with different things. You know, Danielle's really into rocks right now, and Nikolai's really into like learning how to jump his bike in a different way, and Liliana's just loving reading book after book after book, and it's just being able to be a part of that is really kind of my favorite thing at the moment. What do you think of your husband? Well, no, I'm just kidding. I love my husband, obviously, because we're married. I think Justin is a very hardworking, genuine man. It isn't very often, I think, in this modern world, or maybe it's more often than I think, but that you can find a man who literally is gone from home more than he's home, and it's for the sole fact that he wants to provide for his family. Obviously, he wants to have things too. I mean, we have snow machines, we each have a vehicle, things like that. However, at the end of it, he just wants to provide the best possible life for our family, and a part of the way of doing that, that's a responsibility as an adult, is financially. Beyond that, I think Justin is a really funny person. He has a really odd sense of humor, but it meshes really well. Like, I don't think I really go through a very long period of time, like on a regular basis, without him making me laugh at something, and it's things that I didn't ever think I would be laughing at, but he just has this quality about him. Countries you want to visit. Oh, the list is so long. I actually kind of have this goal in my mind kind of all the time that by the time the kids are in like middle school, like probably like 7th, 8th grade, I want to be able to take them to a country every year, every other year that we've never been to before, and just kind of get them comfortable with like being a little bit nomadic and like traveling and being okay with that part of life. With that idea being in mind, I would really like to go, and I know this is obviously like a continent, but I'd like to go to Europe and take the kids kind of all over Europe. I'd really like to go to Thailand. I'd like to go to Japan. I'd like to go to South Korea. And then I think I'd like to go back to Canada again, just because I didn't think we spent enough time there and we were driving through, so it wasn't like we went to somewhere in Canada and got to hang out and experience things. I mean, anywhere. Like, if someone called me up tomorrow and said, Sadie, you have an all-expenses paid trip for you and your family to go here for this period of time, will you go? Yes, I will. Any hobbies? I would say for me, like, makeup is a hobby. Reading, I guess, is a hobby. My, like, hair bow headband accessories business that I mentioned is a hobby. Hiking, I guess, is a hobby. Camping is a hobby. I mean, those all fall into hobby categories. So photography is a hobby. I have on here favorite place in Alaska because it's just fun to throw Alaska into the videos I do because it's where I live and it's a fun place to talk about. For me, I think I already mentioned Talkeetna, Alaska is my favorite place, but I'll elaborate a little bit. I just love it in the summertime because it just has such a great vibe to it, and the kids and I are always finding like either a new food to try, something new to experience, and it just is kind of one of those places where like I feel like I personally can kind of align my soul with what's right in the world and what is just bullshit that I need to separate myself from. So I love Talkeetna. I love Seward, Alaska for the same reason, because anytime I'm there, I've always like felt a connection, and I always feel very like at peace and mindful when I'm somewhere where there are mountains. And then Seward has something else that I really connect to with the ocean, and that combination for me just really like mellows me out and puts me in a very mindful, calm place. And I have a place near and dear in my heart for Coldfoot, Alaska, because that's the first place I came to when I first came to Alaska, and it's off the beaten path for sure. I just really think it's a very unique, kind of quirky in a way place, so Coldfoot, Alaska is great as well. I want to explore more of Alaska. For sure, there's places I haven't been, like places that you might hear talked about quite frequently that I haven't been are Homer. I've never been to Homer, Alaska. I've never been to Juneau. Those are kind of more, I think, popular, like, in terms of when Alaska is talked about by people other than people who live in Alaska. Those are places that are talked about. That is going to finish off this video and this little get to know me style thing I did. If you're interested in doing this video or getting to know yourself or someone else, I'll leave all my questions below. There were actually 34 of them, so quite a few. And like I said, I'll link anything else that's kind of pertinent below, other places on the internet, social media to connect with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from me. And as always, lots of love from Alaska to wherever in the world you are. Bye, guys.